And they have that's right, give her a hand. They have a table set up, and they'll be able to talk to you. When she gets finished, we may have time for questions, but if not, they'll hang around and they'll be able to talk to you and answer any questions that you may have. And today, we don't have any foolish questions, so if you have to ask a question, just ask it, okay? Amen. So, training for success. When we talk about training for success, as Sister Peter said earlier, when we give a scholarship, first and foremost, we want that person to have that commitment with Jesus Christ. And that's always first. And thankfully, most of our children accept Christ at an early age. And they begin to seek the Lord in earnest, even as little children. They learn to pray. They learn to praise and worship the Lord. They make good choices. They honor their mothers and their fathers. And they have a desire to marry and raise godly seed, even as little children. And sometimes people don't understand this. Oh, y'all are doing too much. Kids going to do what they see. So either they're going to do this or they're going to do something else. What do you rather for them to do? I would rather for them to do this and let them be part of that. After salvation and joining a church like the Promised Land, we want everyone to graduate from high school or every adult to at least have a GED. That's our desire. We want you to become gainfully employed. And when we say gainfully, we mean in a way that increases wealth or resources. And we believe that if you're gainfully employed and you pay your tithes and offering, you will have sustained blessings. Not just blessings, but sustained blessings. Then, of course, we want our kids to marry and then have children in that order. So today, we would like to inform the next generation to not waste time and money on a college degree where you cannot get a job. Some degrees you can't get a job or become gainfully employed in that degree unless you add a master's or a doctorate to it. And you know it's hard enough to get your 4-year degree, then say, I'm going to get my master's and my doctorate. You want to have something you can build on just in case life happens and you can't get there where you want to. For adults, it's not too late to train in something or looking to get a certificate in something that can bring gainful employment. Sometimes you can just take one little certification or something and shoot your money up. It may take a little time, and we don't want nobody to jump up and do anything drastic without counsel, but you need to kind of consider that you have other options. The American dream is real. With prayer and counseling, it can be yours. But remember, what you do is second to who you are, and we lead with salvation first, and then character. God first and family strong. That's what we are about. We want to talk a few minutes about education as an industry. We're going to bring up evangelist missionary Brianna Benton. She has a master's in accountancy, and she's over just parents of the Christian Families Against Destructive Decision. Evangelist Benton is the proud wife of Elder Sumner Benton of almost 17 years and the mother of 4 children. She is a graduate of Clemson, where she majored in corporate finance with an accounting minor while working full-time, raising a teenage niece and nephew, as well as her 3 young children. She went back to school and earned her master's in accountancy. She considers her most important study to be of feminism versus biblical womanhood. This study has not earned her a degree, but has impacted her life and family in much greater ways. Brianna is now a stay-at-home homeschooling mother of her children and the most fulfilled she has ever been. Put your hands together and receive Brianna Benton.
Good evening. I do honor the Lord on this evening, honor my pastor, Apostle Quick, my co-pastor, my first lady, and to the fine gentleman over there with the bald head and distinguished salt and pepper beard, Elder Sumner Benton. I honor him on this evening. Amen. I am here to talk about education and industry. Were we able to get the PowerPoint? Amen. Education and industry. And so I want to start. I'm here on the behalf of Just Parents, or CFAD. And so I wanted to tell you a little bit about Just Parents, just in case you did not know. So we all know a child cannot come into this world without the involvement of both a father and a mother, and that is by God's design. So God gives children to parents, and we know that we will give an account to God one day about how we raised them. So if you are looking for a community of parents who are all striving to raise our children right, a place to receive biblical and practical wisdom, and a place to share in the highs and lows of raising godly seed in this backwards culture, then Just Parents is for you. Amen? We invite you to join us on CFAD Universe. If you go to cfad.org/universe, you will be able to find us there. Here we get to share parenting moments with one another. You'll see special moments, funny moments. You may even see warnings about different sites, shows, and toys. This is a place where we can share about how we parent practically, and we can get ideas that may work in our own homes and families. So here's just a post by Sister Miles that said, we need fun ideas for our family, fun family games. And so she had a myriad of responses, which I enjoyed looking at for my family as well. That's just one example of what takes place on the CFAD universe. So if you are not a part, we invite you to join. Amen? Amen. All right, moving on. College as an industry. College is a business. Next slide. Let's meet Adam and Chris. Adam has a bachelor's degree in philosophy. He has $100,000 in student debt. He can't find a philosophy job. And he believes people without college degrees are stupid. Then we have Chris here. Chris had a 4-year paid apprenticeship. He has no student debt. He earns $80,000 annually, and he disconnected Adam's electricity. And so this is just an example that if, going to college is wonderful, a 4-year degree, a university, or whatever. However, if you don't get the right degree, if you don't major in the right thing, you can come out of it with a lot of debt and nothing really to show for it. It's no fun to sit at home with your degree. Amen. And so we are so excited about the opportunity we have today to explore other career pathways and opportunities that are available to us. Amen? Amen. College is a business. A 4-year degree requires more than full time. So you can't obtain a 4-year degree taking 12 credit hours or a full load for 8 semesters. It's not possible. And so if you try to do that, which they will let you do, your counselors and whatnot in college, they will let you do that, and it will take you 5 to 6 years to get your degree. And so you want to realize that. And so it takes more than that. College is a business. How long can they keep you? How much money can they get out of you? The college gets their money regardless. So whether you are paying out of pocket for financing your education or through student loans, the college or university gets their money. And they get it up front. I have yet to see a college that operates on a payment plan. Now, if you know one, let me know. I would like to know. But I have yet to see one. And so regardless of how well you do or don't do, your college is getting paid. So they're happy. There is no refund for a class you failed or dropped. That is wasted money. That is wasted money. And, of course, they'll allow you to do that. Of course, they'll invite you back. Why wouldn't they? You putting dollars in their pockets. And so we want to remember that. Less colleges are accepting dual enrollment classes. Why? It's about the money. And so for those of you who don't know what dual enrollment is, in high school, you can take high school and college classes together. So you take one class, let's just go with English for an example, and where it's to a level where they say it's covering a high school credit and a college credit at the same time. Well, this is happening so broadly now that colleges are starting to not accept it and say, no, if it was done as dual enrollment, we just consider that a high school class. So that is something to consider as you begin to look at colleges for your child. You really want to research and see, well, what do they accept and make sure it's not going to change by the time your child gets there. So it's a lot to consider. Colleges are filled with majors that are useless after college. If I had time, I would have tried to go through a list of those majors. They're out there, but they're there. And so, like I said earlier, there's no fun in sitting at home with your degree or working a job that you feel like is beneath you or whatever after you have put in all this time, energy, and money to earn a degree. And so it's very important to be prayerful when you are determining your major and when your children are determining their major. You want to consider not just how things are now, but let's project and see how things are looking for this career field in the future. How is AI affecting this field? There are a lot of things to consider when you are trying to determine what your child will major in. All right, the next slide, you will see this old lady, and it says, "Still paying my student loans." Have mercy. So let's talk about these student loans. There are a few types, and we're just going to talk about two. And this clip here came directly from studentaid.gov, and it shows the interest rates on these loans. Now, a direct subsidized loan is available to undergraduate students. It is need-based, and the Department of Ed pays these loans, the interest on these loans, if you are in school at least half-time, and for the first 6 months after you leave school. Notice it says after you leave school because maybe you graduated, maybe you didn't. But from the time you end, you have 6 months worth of time before you have to start taking on these payments and these interest payments. So these are, again, like I said, these are finance-based loans. Then you have the direct unsubsidized loans. They are available to undergraduate and graduate students as well. These are not based on financial need, and you begin accruing interest as soon as you take the loan out. So while you're in this class, while they're taking this class, they are accruing interest on what they have paid the college. And so when they take a class and they drop it, or they fail it, or they withdraw, whatever the case is, then that is money wasted. Loan money, interest money, etc., that has just gone down the drain. And so that is something to really consider when you start talking about these loans. And you see here, fixed interest rate of 6.53% on undergraduate loans. Then on graduate or professional level loans, 8.08%. And it goes up for the direct plus loans. And so this is nothing to take lightly. Amen? Nothing to take lightly. So next slide, as parents, what do we want to consider? What do we want to consider? That the best education, first of all, that we can give our children is a life sold out to God, a biblical worldview, and to know what biblical family life is like. All right? So we want to also consider different goals for our sons and our daughters. We want our sons to grow up to be good providers, realizing that they may, at some point, shoulder all of the financial responsibility of the home and family. And so as we are looking at what career, what trade, or whatever they are looking at, we want to keep this in mind, and we want them to have this in mind. I want to be able to support my family, whether my wife is working or not. And so as we are looking, this is something to keep in mind. So it's so important. So as they are considering and praying, I encourage you to encourage them to pray about their career. They want to consider their earning potential within the scope of our current climate and economy. All right? Then our daughters. We want our daughters to grow up outside of a feministic worldview, realizing that even if they do get a degree and they do go into the workforce, that their family, husband, children are their first priority. And we want them to grow up considering that whether they do or not, that they will seriously consider being in the home. We want them to have that. Say, I want my children to grow up well. I don't want the village out there raising my children. Maybe I will want to go home. Maybe they will, maybe they will not. But we want them to grow up considering that I may want to do this. So what does that mean? They only put career on such a, relegated to the right priority level when it comes to family. And so that should and could affect what they do for their college education. I mean, I look back and I think, why did I go to Clemson? Why did I could have got the same degree at Upstate, paid less money. But, I mean, now we are learning a new way. And so as we have learned and grown in this way, we want to make sure that our children are considering these different things. Amen? Amen. So we want our children to be able to earn and support themselves, but we want them to know how to be good husbands, good wives, and keepers of their homes, and good parents. Because if the family isn't functioning properly, all the money in the world isn't going to mean anything. All right. Is college for my child? That's another thing we should consider as parents. Is it for them? Are they a student? Some are not students. Some don't do well with that. And we need to consider other pathways for them to be able to earn a living. Online or on campus. Maybe, we definitely want our child to earn a degree, or this is, the best way for them that we have decided to earn their degree. Should they do it online or should they do it on campus? Things to consider: what temptations, influences, and ideologies await them with campus life. Things to consider. Can they go off to school and maybe they're doing fine in their classes, but they're making poor decisions outside of their classes? And so that is something to consider. Also, jobs, trades, and careers are how the home, the home and family are supported. So we want to keep our priorities straight. What is the point of us doing all of this? So that I can support my family. This is what it's about. Amen? The next slide, it shows having skills versus having a degree. Now, this is not always the case, but sometimes it is. And we want to consider that. It can definitely be the case. College degrees sound good, and they look nice behind your name, but depending on what your degree is in, having a skill could yield greater results. Amen. And finally, our last slide. There is no substitute for being Spirit-led. All of our children are different, and what worked for one of them may not be the right path for the other. And so we want to make sure that we're asking for the guidance of the Lord, the discernment of the Lord, to help make these decisions. These are big decisions that they will be making when the time comes. And so just remember Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. And so regardless of which way you take, we want the Lord directing our path. Amen? Amen. And so we are going to continue on in our program. I'm so excited about hearing from our main speaker today. Her topic this evening is career pathway choices, trainings, and certifications. So what a vision our pastor and first lady have to help us further see the options that we have for ourselves and our children to help us support and sustain our homes and families. So April Malone will be coming after I read her bio. April Malone is originally from a small town in Arkansas. After earning her double BA from Southern Arkansas University, she built an impressive 11-year career at Verizon as both a tech expert and recruiter, during which she also obtained a master's in adult education. In 2018, April transitioned into the field of education at South Arkansas College. Later, she relocated to South Carolina, joining Spartanburg Community College, where she initially worked on grant programs before moving into a role as a college transition coordinator. Today, she serves as the Director of Recruitment and Outreach, blending her corporate experience with her passion for educational excellence. At this time, please put your hands together as we receive Ms. April Malone.
Thank you all for having me today. I want to thank Apostle Quick and First Lady Quick for inviting us out, and the beautiful family of Promised Land. My name again is April Malone. Like she said, I'm originally from Arkansas. Don't have a lot of family in South Carolina, but at SCC, I am the director of the outreach department. That department, we are responsible for things like this. We get out into the community. I have about 6 or 7 employees that go out into the high schools in Spartanburg County, Cherokee County, and Union County. And in those schools, they help students transition. No matter if they're going to SCC or if they're going anywhere, we want to make sure they're educated, they're knowledgeable, and they know the type of decisions they are about to make. A lot of the things that Missionary Benton just touched on were very important. They are the type of conversations that we have with these students. SCC, I don't know, it's okay if you don't have it. SCC, yes, okay, good deal. You can go on to the next slide. Next slide, sorry. So that just tells you a little bit about the outreach department. Our department, if you ever wanted to come tour SCC, that falls under our department as well. If you did a group tour or anything like that, that's the type of things that we do at the outreach department. But SCC, next slide, we have 5 campuses in 3 counties. So we have 3 campuses in Spartanburg County. We have the downtown campus, we have the we have the campus on 290, which is, I believe that is Duncan, and we have a campus off of Business 85. Thank you. Off of Business 85. Those are the 3 campuses in the Spartanburg County, and then we have a campus in Union County and Cherokee County. Now, it does not matter where you take a class. A lot of the classes are offered in all of those classes. There are some specialized courses that are only available at certain campuses. We have over 70 programs on our campuses. So we have everything from industrial technologies to education to nursing, LPN, CNA, RN. We have all of those type of things. We also have options for you if you are wanting to get a 4-year degree. I think that it's very important to save money. And right now, SCC has free tuition. So if you are looking at advanced education, it's important to save on the front end and go to a community college and get that training that you need and save that money. So this is why SCC can be a valuable tool for you, especially with that free tuition. And we're here to help you. We have a table set up. You can get our cards. We can get you through that process. It doesn't matter your age. We work with all students, no matter if you are older, younger, it does not matter. If you're trying to make a transition, we are here for you, and we offer a lot of different services. So SCC, we have a lot of different support services. We have tutoring, we have career services. These are things to help you transition out of SCC. So if you're trying to get your resume right, or you're trying to work on your interview style, or things like that, those are the type of guidance that you're gonna get while you're at SCC. Now, when it comes to the different programs we have a lot of options as far as career assessment, because a lot of students, we work with a lot of high school students, and these students don't know what they want to do. They haven't had the experience to really get into working to know what type of leader they are or what type of worker they are. They don't know if they like to be behind a desk or out in the field working with their hands. So a lot of the things we do in the outreach department, it's about helping students make that connection. So we try to get them early on. This year we've gotten into the middle school so we can kind of help them get information and knowledge on careers. What can I do? You know, they just know the basic: police officer, nursing, lawyer, doctor. They don't hear anything else but what's out there. But we need them to know the opportunities that they have, the things that are going to allow them to make the income to support their families. And those things are out there. We work with industries all over Spartanburg, from BMW to Sioux Euro Drive to Cooperstown. We work with all of these industries. And these industries, we take guidance counselors on tours, and we see the actual work that they're doing. And a lot of people talk about, oh, robots are taking over. Well, we have programs that allow you to program those. So you can come through and you can take programs that will take you a less than a year. We have certifications, we have diplomas, we have associate's degrees. So a certification can take you anywhere from 1 semester to 2 semesters. Associate's degree will likely take you 2 years, and then of course anything else you would be transferring out. But Missionary Benton mentioned something that's very important. She mentioned how if you are if you're not taking 15 hours, you're not going to make it to that mark. That's true in another sense, is if you're not taking college classes, you're not going to make it to that mark. So when you get in college, they give you a placement exam. And you take that exam, and it places you in a class. And you may not be placed in a college course. And that's a course that you're paying for, but you're not working towards your degree when you take that class. You're only paying money to take another high school class. So those are the type of information, those are the type of things that we as transition coordinators, we sit down and we work with you to take that placement assessment. We let you take it multiple times. Like I said, I'm from Arkansas. I used to work with students there, and we used to give them this test called the AccuPlacer. They charge. SCC does not charge for this test. You can take it anytime with the CTC. We'll give it to you, and we'll let you know how close you are or how you place. Are you placing in a college class? That's very important for your financial aid and the things that you're trying to achieve, because I say it takes less than a year to get a certificate. Yes, but that's if you're placing into the right classes. So those are the type of conversations that we would have with you. We would let you know where you are, because when you're making this is an investment that you're making in yourself. But I tell my goddaughter and everybody, I tell her, you don't want to spend any money on a bachelor's degree. I'm sorry, it's past that. We're past the time where you should be spending money on any associate's certification or bachelor's, because the job that you're going to get coming out with those type of degrees, they're not going to be six figures. It depends on what you get your degree in. It could be close to it, but none of them. If you're going to be a nurse, you're going to probably be starting out about $47,000. So you need to look at what that means for you, what that means for you taking home. And those are the type of conversations that I train my department to have when they're out in the schools with these students or out in the community. Those are the type of things that we're doing with students. And SCC, like I said, we have tons of different programs. A lot of the one thing I like about SCC coming from Arkansas is that we don't have a lot of programs where it's not for the industry. We analyze our programs all the time, and we make sure that we work with the Department of Workforce, South Carolina, so that we can know what is out there, what jobs are in this industry, or in Spartanburg County, or in Greenville County. If we have programs that are not aligning with the businesses, what are we doing? So we need to that's what we make sure on a regular basis, that we have programs that are aligning with the jobs. That's why we brought out diesel mechanic last year, because we saw a need for diesel mechanics. So now we have a diesel mechanic program, because that's an industry that we were noticing when we were working with the industries, they're not filling the jobs. So we were like, okay, if they're not filling their jobs, we need that program. There's a need for that. And so SCC is always doing that. We're always analyzing the needs of the community, and that feeds back to your needs and your needs to support your family. So like I said, feel free to stop by. And like I said, we also have university transfer. So if you do want that 4-year degree, if you do want to go on and maybe be a teacher, because with a teacher, you need a 4-year degree, then we do have university transfer, and it's still smart to start at a community college, because we know what teachers make, right? So you don't want to go to University of South Carolina and pay $16,000 a semester that for 4 years just to get out and get a teacher's salary of $47,000. That makes no sense at all. So those are the type of things we have. And like I said, right now, SCC is free tuition. Only thing you have to do to qualify is to be a resident of South Carolina and complete the FAFSA. And that's an application for federal student aid. It doesn't even matter if you complete the FAFSA and you don't qualify. You just have to complete the FAFSA. And now we're making that announcement on a yearly basis. They've been making that announcement every year since 2020. So it'll probably come about March or April as far as 25-26 school year, if we'll be free or not. But one other thing about SCC is that if we were not free, you could pay for it with your FAFSA. It does not cost a lot. It's less than $200 per credit hour, which is amazing. To get the same level of education, it does not, my degree does not tell me where I got it from. You know, my employer does not care about where my degree came from. They care about the skills that I have. They care about me getting the job done. And so a lot of good things have came out. And what I tell my students all the time, you have a growth mindset. You have the mindset that I want to grow and I want to learn more and I want to be better. I want to do better every day. And if you have that, you'll be able to move up in your career. You'll be able to take advantage of opportunities that present themselves. That's what happened to me. Just to give you a little background, they already did, but I worked at I was a first generation college student, so I didn't have parents that knew anything about college. My mom did not graduate from high school. My dad, he did. He was able to support his family, but that was a whole nother time where he could go out and he could get a decent job working at, you know, in a trade, and he could move himself up, and he did, but he still did not have the information to give me and pass down. So I did. I went to college. I got a 4-year degree. I got a double. So my dad and mama, they made a little sense. They were like, if you're going to major in theater, because I did, you're going to have to major in something else too. So I majored in theater and mass communications because I was raised in the church, and I always did skits and Easter, and I was always good at memorizing the skits, and I thought that translated to I wanted to be a performer, right? And so I got a degree in theater and mass communications, got out of college. I think I worked for the state of Arkansas, Department of Finance for like 6 months, and then I landed my career. It was Alltel at the time. A lot of you all too young don't know what Alltel is. But it was Alltel before it was Verizon. So I started at Alltel back in 2007. I graduated college in 2006. And at Alltel, this is where I said, you know what, I want to learn even more. And it was a company that put every company, let me just say that. If you work at McDonald's, if you work at Wendy's, if you work at Publix, if you work at Walgreens, do you not know that they have training portals that'll train you on leadership, that'll train you, so you just have to spend your time, because they don't want you to spend their time. Spend your time going on the resources that they have available for you to learn more. And that's what I did at Verizon. I was like, oh, they'll pay for my education, so they paid for my certifications, like Network Plus certification, A+, and my master's. So Verizon paid for all of that. Employers will do that as well. So if you go out and you get an associate's degree for free at SCC, start working for a company, see what that company can offer you, and they'll pay for you to get if you need any more training. And that's how you continue to move up, but that takes that growth mindset. That takes learning, being able to say, hey, what I am today is not fixed. I can be more, I can be better because of who brought me in here, first of all. I am. So that's what that growth mindset, you're right now it's not fixed. You can do whatever you want to do. And that's what you have to take. So at Verizon, I got that training under my belt. I took everything I could from them, and that's how I got into education. So that makes, I could not get a job with the theater degree on its own. What happened was, the reason I was able to land a job out of college is because first of all, I was raised in the church, so I had a lot of activities and things like that I were doing in college. I was a part of, this church organization in college. I worked while I was in college. I worked at the movie gallery, the movie store, DVD rental. I was working. I was building skills. I was learning how to do things. So those things are called transferable skills. So if you're in a club or an organization while you're in high school, when you're doing things, when you're volunteering, take those things seriously. Write down what you're doing. Write down, I was leading, I organized a group of volunteers and we went out on Saturday. That's work. That's something that matters. That's something you can put on your resume. So think about those things, and actually those are the type of experiences that'll help you make a decision. So I still did not know. Even working at Verizon, I was like, I did not know I was a techie. I didn't know I liked, working on computers and working with software. I did not know that about myself. And then as my career has grown, I did not know I liked logistics. So when I got with SCC and we started planning fall festivals and organizing these grand events, I didn't know I liked that, but that's the type of thing that we have to think about with students. They don't always know what they like, but when you're involved in something and you get delved in it, take note of what you're doing. Take note of how you something makes you feel, because that may help you pick your career. That may help you understand where you're supposed to be. So, like I said, at SCC in the outreach department, we have a lot of opportunities. We have a lot of ways that we can connect. We do workshops. We do different type of things on different topics because we want you all to be productive citizens and to make good decisions. And we don't want you to have to go through the things that we went through. We don't want you to have that debt. We don't want you to experience the things that we experienced. We want it to be better and you to eliminate challenges as much as possible for yourself. And it's definitely possible. So I think your church is doing a wonderful thing and providing you with resources, and I just want you all to know that SCC and the outreach department, me personally, I am a resource. I would hope that you feel free to use me in any kind of way. My contact information is here. You can take a picture of it. Feel free to call me or email me. If you have anything, I am definitely here to help, and I have a team of people that can help as well. Amen.
Thank you, April. That was awesome. Anybody have any questions? Anybody have any questions for her? Yeah.
Thank you very much. All right. April, thank you again for a wonderful presentation. We appreciate you coming. One of the things I wanted to ask is kind of unrelated, but we are recruiting families that we can be a blessing to help them get on a path to success. And we do a assessment of about 10 areas of their lives. I'm curious if any of the guidance or services that you all offer your students, could you offer them to individuals we might refer to you all that are not students at the time? Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Well, that's part one, part A of my question. All right, part two is with your mass communication degree, does that uh, does that give you experience and actually say, in our case, we have CFAD. CFAD is growing. We've expanded to several states and several communities with other church and pastors that have embraced our mission to strengthen families. Our endeavor is to reach as many people and families we can throughout the country. And our challenge is, how do we do that? Everything you look at, they say, go to social media. We know how effective Facebook is. And we know that anything that they don't agree with, they can throttle it so you can't reach people. So in your experience, do you think that you could give us some guidance or direction on how we can actually expand our exposure for CFAD?
As far as marketing, yes,
Yes.
I think that could be a conversation.
All right. All right. We'll have someone contact you.
Amen. Any other questions? I would like to ask, for example, if we have someone that's working at BMW, do you have anything that they could, a certificate program or anything that they could come and do that increase their income?
Most definitely. We actually have partnerships with BMW. So they have a lot of different scholar programs, and a lot of their scholar programs run off of our certificates. So we have mechatronics, we have EET, which is electrical engineering technology. I mean, we have so many that fall under BMW and that will just take a certification and they can come and it'll boost. That's exactly what that
So the
certification is.
certification is like 3 months to a
3
year?
to a year.
2 year. Okay, just kind of
It
depends.
just depends on which one it is.
And if you're doing it specifically for a company, does the company give them time to do it, or is that something that they do on their own time?
So that's a good question, and it's two parts. So if you are in BMW already and you're not a part of one of their scholar programs, it's probably something you would have to do on your own time. But if you were to come a part of their scholar program, they have dedicated work time, dedicated school time built into the programs.
Oh,
And
that
they
is
have
awesome.
many different scholar programs. So they have scholar programs for someone who does not have just has a high school diploma, degree, and then they have scholar program for people who are currently in school, and then they have scholar for people who have a
College.
associate's degree already.
How about a college degree? 'Cause we
Yes.
know people that have college
Yes,
degrees.
that's right. They have all those scholar programs for all those levels.
And all that would increase the income.
That's right.
Any other industry around here that you're working with?
Yes, we work with Michelin.
Sure.
We have a list.
Okay,
We have a list
awesome.
of partners, and I just had a breakfast, and they were all there at the breakfast getting information to the guidance counselors across the county. So I can definitely get you some resources on our industry partners.
Thank you, because we want people to start thinking out of the box.
Yes,
You know, sometimes we have these things, and if you don't know, you don't know. But we want to take it and get the best options that we can get.
that's right.
Amen. Any questions? You have a question? Okay. Okay. I don't want it like this. I want it in. Okay. Thank you. This I wanted to find one that everything I found was online. I wanted to find one that was offline that I could give it to you in your hand that you could go home. Because if you, for example, if you're a nurse and nursing, you can do a whole lot of different things. And maybe you're doing something and you're not that happy with it, but you could take a one of these tests and find out that you know what, I would do better if I was working in counseling. I would do better if I was working with the elderly, or I would do better if I was working in this thing because that's what my interest is. Then you can look at doing whatever you need to do to get that experience. So whatever you're doing, it's important that you're enjoying it also. Because they say if you enjoy what you do, you never work a day in your life, you know. And that's true for pastor and co-pastor. That's why they work like 7 days a week around the clock. Well, co-pastor take Monday off, but I haven't been able to convince pastor to take a day off yet. But I'm hopeful that he will get a day off at some point
Okay.
because he loves what he's doing. And we want you to love what you're doing too. Just like you love coming to church, we want you to love what you were doing. But we did find one test, a personality, truity.com test, career personality profiler test, that you can go on and take it. And you can take it and it'll give you some results. And it'll also, you know, if you pay more money, of course, if you pay some money, you can get more information on it. And that's why we wanted to give it to you so you could take home and look at it. And you know what? It's not too early to start with your junior high kids. Talking to your young kids about what they want to do. Find out what they like to do. Are they good with the hands? What kind of things do they like? Numbers? Do they like science? Kind of find out what they like and kind of try to guide them along the way. And one thing that my daughter is doing in the summer, she puts her kids in these classes at Bob Jones with different things. And give them an example of what Alex, when he said he wanted to do computers, what you put him in.
Different summer for computer science, but different avenues of that in the time in between the summers, the school year, he also did a class online for computer coding. So he did those different things, and then he determined, you know what, I really don't think this is for me. And he was like, Mom, I'm sorry. I wasted your money. And I said, no, you saved me money. Because this is how you find out what you like and what you don't like. Mm-hmm. And so we're trying to do something similar with Elijah. He has more time, but the point is they want to be great earners for their families.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, April. That was very knowledgeable. And thank you, Missionary Benton. That was very knowledgeable. One thing about it, you're at the promised land. You can't say you don't know.
Amen.
Okay, I'm going to try to do this the best that I can with what I have. Our desire is for every group to at least raise $1,000, and we thank God for our group. And I want you to celebrate everyone